it's 20th of December, just few days before big holiday in Sweden. But anyhow, we are going and running our festival, and we are middle of the city, and we are happy to have at least few of you in public. We are starting now. We hope that with the time we will get more public. And the first movie that we shall see, it's a movie from Montenegro. It's about beginnings of cinematography in Montenegro. Speak in English because our guests don't understand Swedish. And now is one movie which is a little bit, or not a little bit, suffering, but woman suffering during the war, but from another perspective when we are talking about war in Balkans. Especially here in Sweden, we used to have one story present, and it's the victims that used to be from one part of the people, but actually on the another part, if we are talking about Croatians, Bosnia, like Muslims and Serbian people, there were also so many victims from the Serbian part. And this is one of the unique movies that actually shows stories, narration of the woman that passed through this torture. Between us, guests to the Balkan Film Festival, documentary and short edition, are also filmmaker Milan Petkovic. Please, can you come here just to say hello to public? Thank you. Then with us is Darko, who is the filmmaker, cameraman, and Božica Živković. Please, can you just to say this movie we shall just leave to speak with his own words, and afterward we will have a conversation with the public and with me. I should probably give you some questions about the movies. Thank you. We have even one filmmaker from Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's Milan Petkovic with his movie Silent Screen, and we can ask him actually on Serbian, and then we will translate this. Milane, prvi put ste u Štokholmu i prvi put prikazujemo zapravo švedskoj javnosti ovakvu jednu priču. Odakle vam ideja za ovim filmom?
Pa, iskreno, ideja je od urednika koji mi je ponudio da radim ove priče. Pokazao mi je knjigu koja je već bila napisana, ispovijest žena žrtava rata, tako da sam se prihvatio posla i eto, nastala je ovaj film.
On a question how he find out this theme, he answered that his chief in a TV, chief in editor, gave him actually a book about woman victim in last war on the Balkans, and that's how he's got this idea to make. Da li je bilo teško da se napravi ovakva jedna priča?
Jeste. Trebalo je slušati sve te njihove traume, kroz to su sve prošle te žene. Nije bilo lako. I mnogo toga je, ja mislim da je puno više ostalo nerečeno nego što je rečeno.
It was quite hard to make this kind of movie, and he has direct thing that it is much more which is unknown, still unknown than this, what they actually reach with the movie.
Izvinjam se, te žene sve, one imaju djecu, odraslu i prosto im je neprijatno i ne žele uopšte da se čuje i sazna zbog djece.
This was also difficult because this woman has children, has families, and they don't want to come out with these histories to the public, officially, and that's why these stories are often in a background, never come out. Dobro, šta još spremate? Jer ima nekih zanimljivih tema još.
Ima. Trenutno radim, opet me je dopala jedna nezahvalna tema. radim priču pod radnim nazivom Južni potez, to je 95. godina, kraj rata i napad hrvatske vojske na Mrkonjić grad. Tu se desio i urbicid i genocid. Recimo, strašno razaranje, najveća masovna grobnica u Republici Srpskoj, pa da ne kažem, da ne pretjerujem, ali identično Vukovaru. Od Vukovara je napravljen mit, a za Mrkonjić grad niko ništa ne zna.
The next project is about Mrkonjić grad. One part, it's the city in Croatia, if I understand. Yes, and how actually Croatian people did both the genocide and urbicide, which is actually which is no unknown history, but he get this not so popular subject because we have a city as Vukovar, which was damaged and which the world knows about, but about Mrkonjić grad nobody knows, and it's time to come out with this story. Imate prilično teške priče, da li postižete sve to da ispričate, budući da ste na licu mesta?
Pa ne znam da li postižem, nisam nešto ni zadovoljan. Malo ja kažem svom uredniku, rekao, zar nije dosta što sam i sam učesnik rata, što su mi roditelji bili izbjegla raseljena lica i sad moram još na kraju da se bavim i tako teškim pričama. Nekako, mislim da bi bilo vrijeme da pređem na neke lakše teme.
Director Milan Petković actually think that it's time to make something easier, since he's one who was also victim of the war. He take a part in the war. He was like punished. I mean, he decided to do that because he feels like obligation. And his parents was almost refugees. They moved from this part of where he grew up. And now he's again on the same place and doing a movie about that. It's not easy, absolutely not easy for him to do the same. And he is ready for something new. Milane, hvala vam što ste bili.
Hvala vama, nisam još rekao da mi je drago što sam došao ovdje u Štokholm i lijepo je sve ovo organizovano. Nadam se da će još biti prilike da dođem sa nekim novom pričom. Ovaj put manje, drugi put u stvari manje tragično i teško, nešto ljepše ako napravim. Možda budem imao sreće opet
da dođete. Milan is grateful and thankful that he get possibility to come here and hope that he will come again. Mi se također nadamo da će biti mogućnosti da se vidimo ponovo i zapravo su ovo neke priče o kojima mi treba da čujemo, odnosno ljudi u Švedskoj, uopšte u zapadnoj Evropi, tako da nemojte bežati od ovih tema, mislim da su jako važne i vredne, znam da je teško praviti ih i da su uslovi rada prilično nezahvalni, ali ove priče prosto moraju da izađu na površinu. As I said, this story are important because this story must reach Westworld, since some kind of one part of information is already done, but the second part, which is more or less seen, is also important to be screened and showed. Milane, thank you. Hvala. Milane, kako ste došli do ove priče? How did you come to this story?
Pardon, jedan dan sam slučajno došao do urednika svog i pitao ga ima li nešto za mene da predloži da radim. On je samo pogled ovako pokazao mi na ovu knjigu, upravo ovu na stolu, kaže ima jedna stvar. Eto ti to, kaže, s tim što ti moram, kaže, poslije nabaviti tablete za smirenje poslije kad budeš završio to.
Milan, when he was there working as a photographer and director at the radio television Republika Srpska, he came to his chief and asked, do we have something to do next? What is next? And he said, well, this is this book, take it, but you need also pills afterwards to calm down.
Ja nisam u početku znao o čemu je riječ, međutim, vrlo brzo sam, kad sam otvorio, pogledao, vidio sam da se radi o ženama, žrtvama rata. Pročitao nekoliko priča, ukupno ima 15-ak priča. I onda sam, prvo što sam pronašao Božicu, pošto je ona predsjednica udruženja koje je formirano tek 2013. Znači mnogo godina poslije rata, počela je da se javlja priča i o srpskim žrtvama, pošto je propaganda i unaprijed određena ko su dobri, ko loši momci odradila već uveliko posao.
Okay. Well, it was not easy to start. He started with the organization that actually founded 2013. It is almost, we can say almost 20 years, skoro 20 godina kasnije. 15 or 20 years after the crime, they make organization, and it was actually his first point when he started to work with this project. Question was actually how to start, because the war is already done, because everybody decide who is bad guys, who is good guys, and it was not easy to start.
Ja sam naravno kao učesnik rata znao kakva je realna slika i šta se sve dešavalo, ali isto sam znao da svijet nema uopšte predstavu šta je istina. Pa sam na kraju rekao sam sebi, ajde da bar zabilježimo preživjele žene žrtve, da imamo živa svjedočanstva iz prve ruke.
Mila didn't know how to start again because subject is so wide and huge, and he said, okay, let's start the easiest way. Let's take interviews with women victims.
Tako da sam se obratio Božici kao predsjedniku udruženja i u dogovoru sa njom smo pronašli 6 žena, tražili smo žene sa različitih mjesta Republike Srpske, da se vidi da to nije se desilo samo na jednom dijelu i da je to slučajnost, nego bukvalno da na čitavom prostoru gdje su Srbi živjeli, da su bili logori muslimansko-hrvatski u kojima su Srbi držani, žene, djeca, starci, vojnici, na stotine tih logora. Evo, Božica zna tačno, ali to je strašno. Strašne su cifre, strašne su zločini, čuda su velika činjena.
Idea was also to find so many camps, I mean all places which actually was found in all area where Serbs were living in Bosnia, and he tried to make this story very wide, I mean as it was possible, since the offer, like all children, women, they were everywhere.
Namjerno smo uzeli, znači, 6 žena iz 6 različitih dijelova Republike Srpske, ali za sad, evo, njih je na 2013. bilo koliko u udruženju? 200, sad je već 600 žena u tom udruženju i broj se stalno uvećava. Mnoge od njih su umrle od tih žena, mnoge se ne smiju ni prijaviti, ne žele da pričaju svoju muku. Jednostavno takav je mentalitet srpskog naroda. Ne kukaju, ne žale se. Evo i ove žene.
He took a history of the six women, and but actually it is not easy to find out the stories, because these Serbs, by the history, has nature to keep silent about these tragedies, because it was not the first time that was happened, and somehow it is not in nature to come out with these shameful stories. when they founded this organization of Women Victim in 2013, it was 200 women that came out with their history, but now it's 600 and this number is growing.
Ja neću više o žrtvama pričati, samo hoću nešto da kažem o strukturi ovog filma.
He would like to add something.
Božica će više o žrtvama reći. Ja sam samo htio, početak je, na početku filma se vidi kako je bilo prije rata, da su oni živjeli u velikoj zabludi, da je na dijelu bratstvo, jedinstvo i ta ogromna zabluda ih je sve koštala ih je tragedije koju su preživjeli. I ogromna je zabluda da su Srbi bili agresori, jer su oni baš, i ovdje se vidi, slijepo vjerovali u bratstvo i jedinstvo za razliku od ostalih i nisu imali nikakav ni interes, ni motiv, ni plan da ruše nešto, da rasturaju državu, da žive samostalno ili bilo šta.
Director explanation was actually that the Serbs in this time, especially in the beginning of the war, had, how can I say, people lived under the communists' parola or propaganda, like unities, brotherhood and uniqueness. But actually they were not ready to come in the war, in that kind of war, which was something absolutely different. And it was something which was very obvious during this film shooting for the director.
I evo, da skratim, da ne dužim priču, preživjele su veliku muku, ali ja mislim da je zanimljivo da na kraju one nikog ni za šta ne krive. One uopšte nikog ni ne mrze, niti su, imaju želju za osvetom, jednostavno samo što jednu stvar žele, svoju Republiku Srpsku, da žive sa svima u slozi i ljubavi, ali da se zna šta je ono za što su se borili njihovi očevi, braća, rođaci i da im to niko ne uzima.
The only thing which is important for director is that these women are not angry or filled of some kind of bad wishes or aggression toward the what's the name? Napadača. Aggressor. People who did this bad things. They just want to live in the Republika Srpska their own lives and somehow the country where their parents have lived before.
Još samo jedna rečenica. Ja mislim, pošto je u svijetu nametnuta paradigma Srba kao agresora, da paradigme nisu evanđelje, nisu uklesane u kamenu, paradigma se mijenja, može promijeniti. Evo, ja mislim da je ovo ovaj film jedan od malih doprinosa da se ta lažna nametnuta paradigma o Srbima kao isključivim lošim momcima u bivšem ratu građanskom i razbije, da se znači počne, ovo je početak rušenja, a vjerujem da će se kako vrijeme prolazi mnogo više ta paradigma nametnuta i razbiti.
Director also thinking that the position of Serbs as main terrorists, main accused for war and everything, actually it is a time to come out with the truth, and he thinks that this movie is starting with that, and this story will become more and more out. Yes, was it, da li je bilo teško izaći sa tako jednom pričom pred kamere? Was it hard to come out with one very personal, intimate and not so popular history about yourself in the screen? as you do, as you did.
Hvala za pitanje. Dobar dan svima. Hvala što ste došli gledati projekciju filma o stradanju srpskih žena na području Bosne i Hercegovine. Ja sam Božica Živković-Rajlić, predsjednik sam Udruženja žena žrtava rata Republike Srpske i provela sam u logoru 322 dana. Osim prvog boravka u logoru koji je držala za mene armija BiH, odnosno muslimanska vojska, ja sam poslije razmjene 3. maja 1993. zarobljena sam 16.6. Samo sekundu da završim misl. A razmjena sam 3. maja. Doživjela sam i drugo stradanje u Bljesku u progonu iz Okučana.
Okay, it's Božica Rajlić-Živković, victim, and she spent 332 days in a prison. She survived, but it was not the only suffering. She survived some... Šta je bilo to drugo? Bljesak?
A drugo, progon iz Okučana u akciji Bljesak.
How can I say?
Mogu li objasniti, znači, kad je izašla iz zarobljeništva prvog,
Dva stradalja sam doživjela u ratu.
odšla je da radi kao
Profesor
u Hrvatsku.
Nije to Hrvatska, to je Republika Srpska krajina Jugoslavija.
Dobro.
To je tad bila
U
Jugoslavija.
granicama Republike Hrvatske, tada BaNoRevske, međutim i tu je ponovno desio se bljesak na akcija Hrvatske vojske, pa je i tad sa malim djetetom morala da napusti i tu.
Okay, it was two occasions. First was 332 days in a prison, and then she came back and started to work as a teacher, but then suddenly start Croatian part, because the first one was Muslim. First was Muslim torture during this prison in Srebrenica. Srebrenik, sorry.
Kod Tuzle.
It's close to Tuzla. And then second one was Bljesak, which is Srpska krajina in that time. Now is Krajina, which is part of Yugoslavia. Now is on Croatian part.
Sada pripada Hrvatskoj. Izaći u javnost poslije 20 godina nije ni malo lako, zato što ja kao osoba sam prije rata završila 2 fakulteta. Radim kao profesor istorije i diplomirani sam bibliotekar. Poslije logora sam formirala svoju porodicu. Imam 2 djece i supruga koji je profesor matematike.
It is too much mnogo informacija. Božica is educated 2 faculties. One is history, historian, and the second one is library expert or working with that. She's married. First, she made the family after all this what was happened. She think quite late. With the teacher in matematici, and have 2 children, as I remember, 2 children.
Prije svega, da biste izašli u javnost s istinom, potrebno je da to neko sluša i da prizna. Ni moja Republika Srpska to nije priznala 16,5 godina.
That was actually most painful, that this what was happened even in Republika Srpska part of the Bosnia and Herzegovina have hard to accept these stories that this woman was passed through.
Ipak u traženju pravde ja sam pobjedila te institucije i ostvarila status civilne žrtve rata.
But
birokratiju, kako će.
But among all this, she just, how can I say, understand that she had no another way than to prove that, and she make it. All institution and everything, she some kind proved that she is a war victim, and it was not easy to do that in the state. I mean, in the state of Bosnia and Herzegovina today.
tek sa tim priznanjem mogla sam da tražim i da okupljam žene koje nisu uspjele da ostvare svoje pravo.
And first after that, when she got for herself this recognition as a war victim, then she started to gather women around her that passed through the same experience.
Nažalost, obstrukcija vlasti i svih politika koje su poslije rata bile su velika prepreka da se i osnujemo.
Actually, the institution and politics and power, government, all of them are only obstacles. They didn't liked and support this idea, and somehow there was always marginalized. Doesn't matter who, when, how.
U tom vremenu čekanja mnoge žene su završile ovozemaljski život i nisu ništa ostvarile, a ogromne tajne su sa sobom odnijele u grob. Hiljade žena.
Lot of this women, around 1,000, never reached this possibility to tell the truth, and they just disappeared together with their stories after what was happened.
Uzor za moj rad i za pokazivanje istine jesu bošnjačka i hrvatska udruženja u federaciji koja su se za svoje mjesto izborili.
That what she had in front of her was actually Bosnian and Bosniak and then Croatians association that already did a lot for their recognition both locally and in the world, but that helped her as idea how she could do something.
U ovom nesretnom ratu stradali su svi, s tim što su one imale podršku i napravile udruženja i napravile imidž od toga. Imidž žrtve u Bosni i Hercegovini.
Well, this organization did a lot of in their own image, and it was something that was already done, and they had some kind of support before, but for them it was not so easy.
Srpkinje nisu nikad do mog izlaganja i okupljanja žena, Srpkinje nikad nisu pominjane kao žrtve.
Serbian woman was never mentioned as an offer,
nego samo kao supruge, sestre, majke, boraca Vojske Republike Srpske.
They were only mothers, sisters, and some relatives to the warrior of the Republika Srpska.
A opet oni, već u unaprijed pripremljenoj propagandi, su prije početka rata prikazani kao loši momci, agresori, zločinci, silovatelji i tako dalje.
And they were from the beginning shown as aggressor, one who is doing bad things to another.
Ne branim zločinca ni jednog, kad bi to bio i moj rođeni brat.
I don't defend any aggressor, even if it was my brother.
Ali mi je jako krivo što se ne govori da su zločine činili svi i svakome.
But the most terrible thing is that in this war everybody did everything to anyone.
Žao mi je svake Bošnjakinje i Hrvatice koja je stradala od loših Srba.
She's feel bad about all women from Muslim part or Croatia part that was suffering under the even Serbs.
I to njihove predsjednice udruženja znaju. Ja ih uvažavam, ali i one mene.
And that was recognized from the other organization, Croatian, Bosnian one, and they know each other very well and they know the real story.
Ali tražim da se i moje ime i hiljada Srpkinja koje su stradale u zatvorima armije BiH i HVO-a također prizna kao osobe koje su žrtve.
But I also asking, and I will not give up, that the names of the Serbian women and people who suffering during this war also must be heard and shown outside.
Od preko 29.000 stradalih za nastanak Republike Srpske, više od trećine su žene i djeca.
Among 29,000 that was offered during this war to make Republika Srpska, 1/3 part is a woman.
U Bosni i Hercegovini muslimani i Hrvati pravili su 526 logora.
Muslims and Croats did 526 camps,
za koje za većinu od njih 90% nikad niko odgovarao nije.
and 90% of them nobody never was asked for or accused for something.
Ja poštujem žrtve Srebrenice, ali tražim da i mene poštuju kao preživjelu iz logora.
She respects the offer of the victims from Srebrenica, but she also asked for respect for herself and the woman that passed through the same.
Tražim da se poštuje i 3000 ubijenih na području Podrinja i u svakom drugom mjestu. Ako je Srebrenica bila tamo pa imala određen broj žrtava, mala je razlika u broju u stvarnom popisu, drugo su medijski natpisi. Mala je razlika između ubijenih Srba i ubijenih Bošnjaka na tom području, to će istoričar dokazati kad tad. Mi taj popis već imamo i to ima i Brisel. To su radile žene u crnom.
Historian will show that the offer, which we know mostly here in Sweden, from Srebrenica, it's actually equal, the same to the Serbs' offer in the Bosnian War, and these figures will soon come out.
Mnoge međunarodne organizacije 20 godina poslije rata uvidjeli su da su podaci koji su slani u svijet bili zlonamjerni i potpuno bezobrazno pogrešno plasirani.
And the figures that was media somehow shown actually was did by purpose which is not correct.
Knjiga koju smo uradili, knjiga koju smo uradili je prvih 15 svjedočenja, a na osnovu nje radimo 6 filmova.
And this book is the book which is 15, how can I say, testimony about this victim stories, and more of them are coming. And this is a ground for this movie.
Mi smo je promovisali u Sjedinjenim Državama i bili smo u mnogim centrima izuzetno dobro primljeni. Danas ovaj film je ekranizacija ove monografije, znači dijela ove monografije.
With this book and this movie they are traveling around. Last time they were in America and showed that.
Hvala vam što ste došli da
Thank you so much.
vidite ovo što smo preživjeli.
Do we have some questions? Okay, I must say thank you that you actually offered your own and come here to show us this. We continue with a little pause and then continue with the next movie.